Hello everybody and welcome back to Across the Line. Welcome to our predictions for the Miami Grand Prix and sprint race. For the first time we're having a sprint race in Miami. Once again I am joined by what should we go with today? The sun-kissed and warm Zach.
Yep, 23 degrees.
23 degrees by you, and it's about 3 degrees by me in sunny Wales. Are we excited for the Miami Grand Prix, Zach?
Yes, I think I said it in the last video, yes.
Because you like Miami. You said you like Miami.
I do like
in the last
Miami.
video.
I like Miami. And I think it'd be interesting. I'm not a big fan of 2 sprint races in a row, or just sprint races in general. But race, I'm excited for in Miami. Yeah.
So, sprint race winner. Who have you got down to win the sprint race this weekend?
Max Verstappen. Has he won every Miami?
I think he has, yes. I think he's the only driver to win in Miami.
I just remember the very cheesy podium display where they drove them off.
The helmets. They had like the NFL helmets.
I can only picture Max in that setting.
For my sprint race winner, I've gone for Charles Leclerc because I've got a good feeling for Ferrari this weekend. They got a little bit of blue. Not the best livery this weekend, V-Carb. They are taking the livery chat by storm. But no, I think Charles is going to have a good weekend. I'm hoping it's going to be a good weekend for Ferrari as well to try and keep some pressure onto that of one of the Red Bull drivers. So,
just before we move on from the sprint race, you've gone for a driver who's not Max Verstappen.
Yes.
Just bearing in mind, in the last sprint race, he won it by like 12 seconds.
Yes.
That's an insane margin for a sprint race.
I'm hoping it's because Ferrari couldn't get their tyres. Ferrari couldn't get their tyres up to temp last weekend. We are now back to sort of normal-ish track conditions. I have faith in Ferrari. I have faith in the Ferrari master plan, which is why, for the pole position for the race, I've gone for Max Verstappen.
Yeah, I've also gone for Max. Yeah, I think I went rogue last week, and I think I went for a Charles podium, and it did not do me any favors in the points. So I've gone back to tried and true
old
Max
reliable.
Verstappen.
Yeah. So then podium winners for the race. Third place, who have you gone for?
I have got Charles on my podium in third place.
Charles in third. Okay, cool. I've gone for Checo. So I think you can see where this is sort of going. Second place, I'm going to guess you've gone for Sergio Perez.
I have. Which
well, interesting, very
have,
interesting.
I've had him off my podium a few times this year. But no, I've gone for Checo. I think that Red Bull will just kind of dominate this weekend.
I've gone for Charles P2. I've got good vibes from Ferrari. I don't know why. I feel like Charles,
but not Sainz.
I still think Charles has got a point to prove, and he had a better weekend than Sainz in China. So I think Charles is going to use his momentum now, possibly outperform Sainz again. I could be completely wrong. I most likely will be completely wrong, because last time he raced here, I believe Charles ended up binning it during a quali lap, which was great to see. Max Verstappen, I put him in P1. I've got him to win the race.
I've also
and take
got him to
podium
win the race.
Yeah.
And in my prediction, I've got him as a clean sweep sprint pole.
Yeah, he's on top form. The car is doing everything he needs to. Biggest winners for the weekend. What team or driver have you got down for the biggest winner?
I've gone for Ferrari, which I actually think since Bahrain is the first time I've actually gone for Ferrari.
Oh,
for the biggest
wow.
winners.
Okay.
And I think they've, in a few times, probably been behind Red Bull, the biggest winners.
Yeah.
I just think they'll have a consistent weekend. I think they'll score a decent amount of points from the sprint and the race. I've got them down for a P3, P4.
I've gone for Mercedes. I believe they are bringing upgrades or updates to the car this weekend. I hope they work. I hope the car works. Maybe if it'll turn on, that would be a good start. I know they've been having an absolute stinker of a season. This is a really good team that are suddenly struggling to get, P7? So for Mercedes, I feel like they need to bounce back big this weekend. I've got hopes. I feel like the Miami vibes, Lewis, liking the American side of things, and George being the PR puppet that he is. I imagine he'll do good in Miami too. So yeah, Mercedes, I'm hopeful that they are going to have a better weekend this weekend. To be biggest winners, I may have to try and justify it some way, shape, or form.
And just in that, there you've touched on two things. You touched on P7 and George Russell. So, who's finishing P7?
I've gone for Lance Stroll for P7.
I came so close to putting Lance Stroll. I think he's going to be just off it, though.
So who have you
I
put?
almost put Lance Stroll.
Is it George?
No.
I was going to say, you can't.
I've gone from putting him on my podium last week to 7th place this week. I've gone for Fernando.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's a good guess. Aston is sort of in that area. Like a good weekend for Aston, sort of like P5, P6. Biggest loser of the weekend. We're going to Miami. There's going to be some showmanship. There's going to be some heroes and there's going to be some zeros. Who have you got for the biggest zero, the biggest loser?
I've got Stake F1. I don't think they'll have a good weekend. But I also think that the Hulkenberg news that has come out this week that he's going to be driving for Audi will put pressure on those drivers. I know that Audi are looking at Carlos Sainz to partner.
Well, they've given him
right now,
big wad of cash to say join our team, and he's not biting at the moment.
But right now, there is a seat up for grabs and 2 drivers. And we've seen what that has done in the past. And I just think there might be a bit of pressure on both of them to perform. Because I think if you're looking at Zhou and Bottas, I don't know if they get another call up after this. Not immediately.
Good. Interesting. I've gone for old reliable. Max on pole. Alpine biggest losers.
They improved in China.
They have improved in China. But this weekend, this sort of will take me on to their news story. They've got some big VIPs coming to them this weekend. And I think there's something is going to happen regarding these VIPs and Alpine. I don't know. My gut feeling is that Alpine's going to have a stinker this weekend. So
they're both in the new chassis. It was Ocon, wasn't it, in China on the lightweight frame? Now Gasly's getting it as well because it proved that it was more reliable. It was better. They could get more performance out of the car. They're both going to be racing with that. I don't know. I think Alpine are bringing some up. I think that not necessarily up, but I think they're pulling it back from the stinker they started the season.
If they score points this weekend, then there's no way I can argue that they're the biggest loser. But no. So if they do score points, I think that'll be a pretty big news story. So nice segue there by me, Mr. Segue. News story of the weekend. What do you think will be the biggest talking point, except for the obvious Adrian Newey drama and Hulk probably going to Audi? There's so much drama that's going on this weekend. But what do you think will be the biggest news story? Bar those.
I've done this one before, and it was so close last week that I've stuck with it again because I do have faith that they are going in the right direction as a team and as a driver. Daniel Ricciardo to score points. He loves America. America loves him. Last week, he was unfortunate that he was in the points and then he got taken out through no fault of his own. I think he'll have a bit of a sort of bit between his teeth going into this. And I think he's very much an energy-based driver and he just thrives in the States.
No, I think that's a good summary, a good guess for a big story for them to score points. I've gone in a different direction. I've not gone for necessarily on-track drama. I'm going for some off-track stuff. Now, we're in Miami, and I mentioned that Alpine will be bringing VIPs. Now, one of their investors is an NFL football player. I can't remember his name, but I do know that he's dating a certain Taylor Swift, who will be at the grid this weekend.
Travis Kelce.
So, him, yeah, Travis Ketchup. He's going to be on the grid with Ms. Taylor Swift. And I think Brundle is going to have a go at trying to interview her, and there will be some drama. And I can see F1 Twitter and Taylor Swift Twitter having beef because Martin's being disrespectful or Taylor's coming across as rude. I think there's going to be some beef there, and I'm praying that we get some sort of Megan the horse, whatever she's called, from America last year. Some drama like that where it's like, no, can't speak to her. But I imagine Taylor, being the lovely woman that she is, will have time for Martin Brundle. But I imagine we're going to have two sides of Twitter clashing together, and there will be drama caused by that. So, yes, I was quite chuffed with that guesstimation, but I'm hoping it can come true.
I think that happened in the NFL with the Chiefs, is that she was getting a lot of attention just sitting in the boxes, and NFL fans.
Taylor Swift,
did not
she's going to
like
dominate
it.
headlines
Yeah.
if she's there this
if
weekend.
If she dominates coverage, that's where the fans of F1 can be like,
why are we
let's
going
keep
to
it on
Taylor
the
Swift
track.
when Max is
Yeah.
12 seconds down the road on lap 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Some big news stories potentially this
That's
weekend
outside of
in
the
Miami.
box as a thought process. You've gone. What can I think? You've gone in some convoluted way
Yeah,
to
I don't know
find
what-
this news story.
I
And
don't
if
know
it works, I mean, fair play to you. I'm happy to give you 2 points for that one if it is.
Right. Recorded. It's on video. It's on audio. We've got that. Okay, so last 2 questions for the weekend then. Number of DNFs and safety car. We've got this wrong every week so far.
Every week.
So, Zach, I ask us, number of DNFs. How many cars will not finish the race this weekend? Take a roll of the dice.
This is the most stressful question now. This is the most stressful question. We're always one off, but in trying to decide it, where I'm like, all right, here's what I think, which means it'll be one off. You've got a 50-50 shot of which way that's going to go.
Yep.
I've gone for 3.
3. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I've gone for 1. So what happens?
It's 2.
It's going to be 2. So I'm going to say 1 DNF. I'm going to stick with my gut because I'm tempted to change to 2 now, but I will say 1. Safety car. I have said yes.
I've also said yes.
You've also said yes, of course. So there's not going to be a safety car. Okay. So it's going to happen again. We're going to be wrong and we're going to be angry and we'll be kicking ourselves watching this race.
The one time we said there wouldn't be a safety car, there was a safety car.
Oh, blimey. Well, there we go. That has been our predictions for the Miami Grand Prix and sprint race. Do we think there will be more action in the sprint than in the actual race itself, Zach?
Interesting, because China was a little bit like that, wasn't it?
China was spicier, sprint race-wise.
I think the race will be better than the sprint.
You'd hope so. There's, more chances for things to go wrong. It's a longer period of time for pit stops, yada, yada. More chances for overtakes. But we'll see. So, yes. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Make sure to ring the bell, ding the bell, take the bell to Miami and chuck it into the pool of water that's actually made out of cardboard. I think that's what you should do to the bell this week. So, yes, thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys with our review of the Miami Grand Prix. I can't say Miami Grand Prix. We will see you on our review of the race and the sprint race later next week. So, yeah, until then, we'll speak to you then. Why am I struggling to do an outro today? Right, goodbye.